Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel for another Waffle on Wednesday. So Pete, what are you waffling about this Wednesday? Well, I'm telling you, what I'm going to waffle about is what's in my crate. What crate? The crate I got just down here. Everybody should be, if you're doing a bit of blacksmithing, having a little box or a crate or something like that with all little scraps and bits and bobs and interesting things that you find, because you never know when you want something, and when you do and you're looking for a bit of inspiration, you can duck out to your little crate of scraps, start fishing through it and go, oh yeah, I think I'll forge one of them. Let's see what's in this crate. There he is. Oh, that's pretty heavy. Righto. Now I've got my little crate of scraps here. What sorts of things do I collect? What do I look for and what do I store up? My scraps aren't just bits of leftovers of things that I'm already doing. They're things that I find when I'm going around, whether I'm at the rubbish tip or you're just walking along and you see a bit of metal on the side of the road, you think, oh look at that, I'll have that. Things people are giving away. Or if you go to garage sales, they've got interesting things, you think, I'll grab that. Let's get started, eh? I've got this old car spring, check that out. Spring steel's good for all sorts of stuff, so if I see one, I'll grab it, and even if I'm not using it straight away, right, I'll go and throw it in my scraps bucket. Cool, so that's that. Little bits of reinforcing, concrete reinforcing bar, or free bar as I call it. It'll have to be free because you certainly wouldn't bloody pay for it. So I've got a couple of bits of that. I've got these two little bits here. I don't know why I've got these or even where I got them, because I don't usually use rebar. I don't like using, I'm one of those guys, don't like using it. Here's a pair of tongs I made from a bit of rebar for one of my movies. Rebar tongs, hate them. Hey, look what I found, look at this. This is it's like a really long auger style drill bit. I'm not sure what metal that's made out of, so really for me this is a mystery steel, but it's still a bit of fun to play with. I was thinking about untwisting that and then doing something with it. I don't even know what I'm going to use that for, and that's half the fun of it. And that's why I like looking in my scraps piles. When I get stuck for ideas, I think, I don't know what I should make. Do you ever get like that? Do you go sort of, I can't think of something to make? I just go and look in the scrap bucket, I'll make something out of that. So there you go, auger bit. Sometimes I find bits of, I don't know what that is. I think it's aluminium on the end there, or some kind of alloy, I don't know. But I didn't get it for that, I'm going to chop that off. There's a good bit of square steel there. I don't know what grade it is. It could be mild steel, could be some kind of tool steel, who knows. I don't even know what this was or what it did. I just saw it and thought, hey, square bar, I'll grab that. I think I found that at the tip. Bits of chain that you see every now and again. Okay, well, I wouldn't really reuse chain or forge chain for anything, but the thing is, when you want a little bit and it's in your scraps bucket, you'll find a reason to have it eventually, and you'll find something to use that for. So that's quite good. Bicycle chain. Actually, I think that's a motorbike chain. It looks like a motorcycle chain. If I'm thinking about doing Damascus one day, I've seen people doing it, using motorcycle chains and things, like Tim from Big Dog Forge, he makes motorcycle chain Damascus, that's quite good. So I grabbed a bit of that. Sometimes you get these really big nuts, look at those, and there's no bolts to go with them or anything like that, but look at the size of those, they're huge. Now, I wouldn't forge with these, but one thing that are really good that you can use these for is for little bolster plates. So if you want to do some punching through something or something like that, or you need to hold something up in the air, or you need that precise distance for some reason, these can come in really handy in the forge. So I always throw them in the scraps bucket because I don't want them hanging around. I very rarely ever use them, but if I want one, I know where to go looking for them. So there you go, big nuts, they come in handy quite a lot. This was something I found. It's a mower blade off of this would come off something like a really big tractor or something like that. You see them mowing sports ovals and all that kind of stuff. You know, they're down the park, they go around the parks, all that kind of thing. Roadside, all that. Giant mower blade. So this is likely to be quite good steel. So that'd be good for making knives or anything. Oh, this is so big, you can make imagine that. So sort of have a look at that shape there. What does that remind you of? Like a meat cleaver, right? You can make a meat cleaver out of that. Look how thick it is. I think I will make a meat cleaver out of it. I just said it. Meat cleaver coming up, folks, yeah. Thanks for that bit of inspiration, by the way. Awesome. Hey, look, there's something. What's that? Have a look. It's like, what's it for? I don't know. I just liked it when I saw it. I thought, oh, I'm going to keep that. Well, I don't know. Who knows? That's a mystery thing. Hey, I got this. This is a pair of those things you chop your hedges with, you know. I just liked it and thought, that looks like a knife. It's sort of knife shaped, doesn't it? I thought maybe I could practice a bit of knife making with that. Look, that one's got a tang on it and everything. So I can practice my knife making, but it's already 90% made, so I wouldn't be burning up all my charcoal, which is probably a good idea. Look at this little thing. This is a cross section of a piece of railway line. I found it at the rubbish tip. I don't know who would cut a slice that thin or what it was for, or it looks like it's been really well cut, you know, like on a bandsaw or something. I thought, why would you chop a little bit of that off? Don't know. But I keep it anyway because this is really good metal. Railway line's quite good metal. Talking of railway line, like in Australia we got quite a few abandoned railway lines near where I live, where there's no railway activity going on anymore. So, and the railway workers, because they're, well, I don't know what, lazy, unmotivated, unsupervised, I don't know, they change these, but they don't pick them up and take them away. They just throw them there, you know. Good for me, I can go down the railway line and go and pick them up. So there they are. They look different to the American ones, completely different. And there's a really old, I think this is a really old railway spike. I can't even remember where I found that, but it was all sort of skinny and eroded and rusted away, and I just thought it was really interesting. So I just grabbed it. I just grabbed it because I wanted it, not because I'm going to forge it or anything. I just thought it was an interesting thing. So I grabbed that. The other thing you find a lot if you go for a walk down the railway line here is these springs. They're like a giant circlip. I think they're spring steel, but I'm not sure. I'd have to forge a bit of this or spark test it or do something with it to find out what they are. But they're like a giant spring clip. So I collected up a few of those, you know, just in case I need a bit of that sort of metal. Sometimes you find broken down old tools. This is a pickaxe, I would assume. Don't know what I'm going to use that for, but if you want to know the shape of things, or maybe if I wanted to make a drift, if I wanted to make one of these, at least you've got the shape of the drift. So shapes can be quite interesting things to collect because they give you a visual on what you might need if you were thinking of making one. So that's cool. Nuts and bolts are really good. There's a good bit of round stock there. I don't know what I would use this for. The nuts are kind of locked on the end there. But it's free, so I grabbed it. I'll have a bit of that. Skinny chain, look what I found. With my lawnmower. Unbelievable. This was in the garden. Clang, 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 crash, crash. I thought, what the bloody hell's that? And I chopped into it with my lawnmower. I thought, what kind of idiot would leave that there in the grass? You know, previous owner, I don't know. Anyway, a little bit of skinny chain like that comes in handy. You never know what I would use that for, so it's good. I found this thing at the rubbish tip. It's a hand rake. It's like a little thing for your garden. You fluff up your garden beds with it. Now, this is just a thin bit of tin, some horrible little thing that was made, commercially available, quite cheap most likely, punched out. But I get something like this for an idea, for a forging idea. And I've got the shape, the size, the rough length of it, all that kind of thing. I saw Torbjorn Ullman making one of these, a finger rake thingy for his garden. So there you go, you see, that's where ideas come from. You don't necessarily have to watch another channel to come up with an idea. When you just pick up a scrappy thing like that and you're looking for inspiration, you pull it out the scrap bin, you think, oh yeah, look at that, I'll make one of those. Cool. Some kind of giant washer thing. Yeah, it's just like a big round giant washer. I don't know what I would use that for, but who knows. Just found it, so I grabbed it. Look at this cool thing that I got off a friend of mine. This is a giant chainsaw chain, and it comes off a forestry harvester. Look at the size of the links on it. They chop down whole trees and chop them all up, and forestry processing, you know, pine trees and all that sort of stuff. If I want to make some Damascus, I reckon that'd be brilliant. That's fantastic. I'm really glad I got a piece of that. Hey, check it out in relation to a normal chain. This is a normal chainsaw chain. This is a forestry harvesting chain. Check out the difference of those two. Cool. Other stuff, other chainy stuff I get. This is a little bicycle chain. Small and skinny. You can, you know, mush that all up like that. Damascus, bit of Damascus coming up for that. We've got this long bolt. Don't really know what I would either reuse that bolt for something or Maybe if I needed a piece of thin stock, I could forge that down. Got a head on it, but who knows what I could use that for. There's another little bolt there. I've got this, I quite often grab little bits like that, little scrappy bits that's in a sort of a wedgy sort of shape. Don't really know what I could read, but if you need a small piece to reforge, you've got a little bit like that. So small scraps that are just leftovers that someone's got. Isn't one of those spring pin things. The last thing I'm going to pull out is one of these. This is a garden secateurs, or part of a secateurs anyway. And I thought, when I saw that, I thought that looks like a great little skinning knife or something like that. And this is another one of the things that I get that's just a shape. Well, I suppose I could make a little knife out of that, eh? Chop that bit off like that. And maybe that could be the tang, or I could beat that down into a tang, leave that hole there probably, maybe put the handle on there like that. Yeah, I could make a little knife out of that, I reckon that'd be cool. Yeah, so I'll pick up shapes that give me a bit of an inspiration for an idea, and that's why I grab this sort of stuff. So there you go folks, that's a look at what's in my crate. I'll put all that back in there later. I'll throw it outside. It's rusty, it's crusty, I don't care. I'm just going to go in the forge later and get forged up. So there you go. That's what I'm waffling on about today. What's in the crate? Yeah. So that's all for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you later.